Alright, so I wanted to give you a quick explanation for the 3 questions I'm asking you to do for every homework assignment, whether it's reading or vodcast, for the first trimester. If ever I don't assign it, that will be clear. But you'll know they're assigned because they're right here. So here's the first time it's assigned, homework response. Now I should note this is different from your GIST, right? Your GIST is the Cornell note format I'm asking you to do for every homework assignment as well. That should be in your binder unless you've spoken to me about doing it on a digital platform. Now for your homework, of course, you should be referencing your SWABATs, what I expect you to be able to do for every homework. That's really important, right? So there's a lot of information in my vodcasts or the reading that might be background, it might be to catch your interest. This is kind of the bread and butter, the bedrock of what I want you to be able to do after doing the homework. These are key terms, right? Maybe it's the first time the word shows up, or it's very important to that particular homework. So reference these. You should be able to define each of these. Okay, so now to your homework response. So you should click here, and Haiku's a little slow this morning, but it'll get us there, I'm sure. Here we go. So this is what you'll see first, and actually if you go to assignment details and show all, just like I just did, you'll see the 3 questions. They're always the same 3 questions, so you can write them down. You'll probably have them memorized shortly. You could take a screenshot and put it on your desktop or what have you, so you don't always have to hit those 2 buttons. But you could also go to Hand In. You get to Hand In, and if you see in my instructions, here they are again, I say leave me a note, don't submit a file. So I want you to write them here in the note spot. And that allows it to pop up for me, and I don't have to dig in and download your file every time. It allows me to respond to these very quickly, and so I can do them every day and get you timely feedback. So these 3 questions, let me tell you my philosophy behind them. So I think probably the most important thing that you need to learn in high school is that high school, or not high school, education, classes, homework is about you. It's about not just simply doing the homework, right? That, in my mind, is when you view the homework about the homework, right? You read page 20 to 25 and you put it down and you're done just because you completed it. No, this is about you. You need to self-reflect. Do I understand what was presented in the homework? Do I get the main ideas? Can I define the terms, apply the skill, explain the concepts? That should be part of your self-reflection. It's what in teaching terms we refer to now as metacognition, which is basically thinking big picture about your own education. You need to be reflecting, was this homework useful? What didn't I understand? What did I understand? What would I like to know more about? And so for me, for my classes, homework is about class time. I could get rid of homework and not really care, except the class time really needs you to bring in background information. So the reading out of the textbooks, most of my vodcasts are really kind of low bar education in my opinion, kind of lecture style, where I'm just trying to give you key terms, some basic concepts, maybe inspire you hopefully or catch your interest with cool stories. But the idea is to set you up for class time so that we can use our class time for the really heavy lifting and learning. The small group discussions, the small group work, the whole class discussion, the one-on-one discussion with me, lab work, all of that I think is something that I want to see being done in class so I can constantly assess how you're doing with that and help you practice those activities. So it's important for me and for you that homework be done well. And so these 3 questions are really meant to help you practice that skill, which I think will be very valuable for you in life. And I find that many high school students still haven't internalize this by the time they get to their junior year in biology. So here are the 3 questions. The first one is, what did you find most interesting or helpful? So I expect you to be doing this throughout all of the homework assignment, thinking about what did I understand? What was clear? What did I get out of that homework? And then on top of that, maybe what was most interesting? What did I find most fascinating about the reading or the vodcast? The second question is, what was the murkiest point? What was least clear? What didn't I understand? And so I'm just asking you for both those questions to just give me one. It's essentially you're giving me an example of something that you understood and or found interesting, and 2, just one example of what didn't you understand. Now, you should be, of course, going through the entire homework and thinking about every idea or concept or skill that you can't, that you don't understand or can't apply, and asking me in class or sending me an email. That's your job. You should be thinking about how effective the homework was. Those are my goals for those questions, but I'm trying to simplify it, and you just have to give me one example of each. It's a practice, right? The third question is very different. It's not kind of the metacognition on how useful was this homework. It's where could I take this? What do I want to know more about? It's not what didn't I understand, but rather, oh, that was an interesting description of an ecosystem. How does that relate to what I saw in Yosemite last year? Or, we were talking about this in math, linear regression, or we were talking about this in English or history class, and is there this connection? That sort of thing. So I'm looking for expansive, really curiosity. Curiosity is really hard to teach, and it's really hard to assess, and this is one attempt I have for trying to assess it, essentially. Show me that you're thinking about it, you're curious, you're applying biology to the world around you, because biology is the world around you. It's all living things on Earth, and it's fundamental to your existence as a living organism and on Earth. So it should be fairly easy, although I know you got lots to do. So this is a practice for that skill, really. I hope that's helpful.